Welcome to the City of Miramar's Business Connect, where we connect your business to what's important. My name is Johnny Douglas, and I'm your host for today. Today, we'll be discussing with our guest panelist, who is a wonderful and a phenomenal young lady, Dr. Karen Hollis. She is the Certified Diversity Executive for the BID program, which is Business Inclusion Diversity, under the Economic and Business Development Department with the City of Miramar. Welcome, Dr. Hollis.
Thank you so much for having me, Johnny. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here with you.
It is a pleasure to have you here. Now, with the City of Miramar, we have noticed that the City of Miramar has done so many wonderful and fabulous things for its business and for its community at large. The City of Miramar has grown leaps and bounds to become one of the top cities to be in Florida. So, with having said that, the BID program has come on board. And I would love to find out more, first of all, about you. Because you, Dr. Hollis, have made an impact through the BID program for our business community. Give us a little background about you. What made you decide that this was the opportunity that the city needed to help grow and educate its business?
I'm not exactly sure why I keep getting muted, but I am here and I'm elated to talk to you a little bit about the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program. If we do have a presentation that's been prepared, if you could start the presentation, because what I'd like to do, Johnny, is to provide our viewers and listeners with an opportunity to really take this journey with us, to see what the mayor, the commission, and the city leadership had in mind when developing this program. At the very offset, we must understand that the city of Miramar has been involved in developing small, minority, disadvantaged, and local businesses long before the BID program or you and I ever existed. The city has always been intricately involved in the businesses and the residents, because the majority of our businesses are in fact residents. I am happy to report that since 1998, I too have been a resident of the city of Miramar. And so how did this program come to be? Next page, please. When the city of Miramar, and because of this dedication and the leadership of the city of Miramar, they've always had like an open platform. Businesses and residents are really always welcome and open to come and talk to the commission, the leaders, the city manager about anything that's literally concerning them and the ways in which leadership wants them, and often try to seek your input. How can we improve the process? How can we position ourselves as city leaders to be able to provide you with the support that you as the end user desire, not that we as leadership or city leaders believe we should have? And so let's talk about the background. A lot of the local businesses complained for inclusion, complained that there was not sufficient number of inclusion, that they didn't really have the tools and the resources to be able to access contracting opportunities. And so unlike most cities, when leadership and residents and businesses complained, this city leadership did something about it. They conducted a diversity study. That is a study that's being done to provide the leadership with accurate data that will confirm one or two things. The residents' complaints and the businesses' complaints are valid. And the beauty of that, it comes along with recommendations on how to improve, or that perhaps the measures that we have in place are sufficient to support our businesses. Well, the city did a study, as you can see with the background, and the study concluded that we can do a better job as the city of Miramar in terms of providing measures for more inclusion. So that's the background of how the city and the program came to be. The residents complained, the businesses complained, the city did a study. Once the study concluded that the city could do a better job, they did something else that's phenomenal, that a lot of agencies conduct studies. When the studies come back with unfavorable reports, nothing happens. I am happy to report, as a 25-year resident of this city, the city leadership took it to the next step, and they brought me on board as a diversity consultant, not a consultant, expert, that came on board to help them and assist them in developing the infrastructure program were designed specifically to have more inclusion and diversity in their small business program. So that's the background of how this program came to be.
Wonderful. And I love the fact that you stated that the city did not sit on this. They did not wish it away. They actually took steps to make sure that they would reach out to this business community that they have here, which is a phenomenal business community, and invited you in to head up a program that today is just phenomenal with the business. I'd like to get into the program a little bit more about some of the things and the components that make the program work well for the businesses to get them, first of all, to their education or to educate them, to develop them, and then to eventually grow them. Can you go into those details, Dr. Hunt?
Right. So at the first thought of individuals and experts that are brought in, and I was lucky enough and blessed enough to be brought on as an employee. So the first thing that the study recommends you do, I had to read the study and identify what is it that the study was able to find. What did they conclude? I know that they concluded we can do a better job. What was the actual areas of concern? If you go to the next slide, please. One of the things that the study confirmed is that a lot of times, not just in the city of Miramar, nationwide, you've been hearing about diversity nationwide with all of these things going on. The underlining core of the issue is what they call discrimination. Not necessarily you have that Black Lives Matter movement, but in the contracting industry, is that the larger contractors have more savvy, have more resources, have more capacity, have more knowledge of how to navigate the contracting process than our small minority and local businesses, which makes it difficult for them to have more access and inclusion. So one of the things that we did to eradicate that standing, the city of Miramar did a business pledge, and we pledged to all businesses, especially our local businesses, that the city of Miramar will never exclude any person from participation in, will never deny any person the benefits of, or otherwise discriminate against anyone or any business in connection with the award and the performance of any contract. So the first approach is to try to put in measures and structures in place to eradicate what the diversity study said was the primary issue. So that came our business pledge. Next, we had to say, it's not just want to identify the problem. So what are you going to do about it, city? So we wanted them to know, we understand, we've read the study results, and now here's how we're going to move forward from this. The Business Inclusion and Diversity Program had goals and objectives. And our goals and objectives was to uphold the highest standards of inclusion, equal opportunity, and non-discriminatory practices by extending assistance and to all firms that desire to do business with the city. We wanted to make sure everyone understood we are not trying to discriminate against anyone. That's never been the practice of the city of Miramar. Really, it hasn't. And so now we're going to go forth with goals and objectives, programs and services that will ensure and direct more inclusion for those that desire, every business that desire to do business with the city of Miramar.
That is wonderful because you see that word floating around a lot these days, the diversity and inclusion. And one thing I'm loving about what the BID program is doing is actually bringing in and speaking life into that theory of diversity and inclusion. Some of the ways that I've seen you've done it through the inception of the BID program was some of the response that I get as a business development coordinator for the city when I go out and visit businesses, how fondly they talk about the program and how the impact of the program has helped the business on every level, where it's certifications, where it's leadership roles, where it's getting grants. However it is, the BID program is causing a lot of stir up there that's really, really positive. So what I like to do now is to find out more into the program, to find out some of the components that really put well together to make all this happen, and that creates all this big buzz that we're here in the city of Miramar and surrounding cities.
I think you hit on the point, and you definitely did your homework really, really well. Is that one of the things that happens is the core components: educate, develop, and position them to grow. And when I saw your outline, I said, he did his homework. That is who With this bid program, we are the area of the city that design change management strategies in hopes of doing those three things: educating businesses, developing businesses, and positioning them to grow. How do we do it, and what do we do it with? We do it through monitoring and compliance. We do it that's to make sure we continue to collect the data and make sure that we're monitoring and ensuring that those things that we're committing to businesses are in fact being carried out. We do it through outreach education, bringing you on board. That was a part and an extension of the program that I developed. We needed someone that was passionate and have the wherewithal, the capacity and the understanding to be able to go out and understand the needs that the businesses need to see us. The businesses need to understand that we're not only here, but our primary goal is to avail ourselves in such a way that we can extrapolate good information and then bring it back to the city that will empower us to continue to develop programs and services that the end users decide they're in need of, not we as leadership deciding it for them. We have this contractor database, which we'll talk a little bit more about, because we want the businesses to know one of the things with diversity and inclusion and the lack of access is making sure that we know who the businesses are. We know the ready, willing, and able contractors. We need to identify. We need to have a place where prime contractors that are working on city projects, we can give them a portal, direct them to a portal or a place where they can go and access and know that these businesses exist. And we also need a place for these small businesses so that they no longer have to just complain to the mayors and the commissions and the leadership, but then they have an area where they could go by and insert their database information, and that information will remain in for various ways that you'll see later on that we're going to be using that information. And then the minority data collection. The diversity study collected data between 2011 and 2016. That's the data that was used to propel us to begin the program. You can only use data for so long. As once you come on board as an expert, you definitely want to continue to get data. That's why we did summer surveys. We wanted to know with the businesses, and you'd be alarmed. You were with me when we did the first summer survey. What is it? Why aren't they responding? And we did a survey. Are you a registered vendor with the city of Miramar? Of the 162 businesses that responded to that survey, over 90% were not registered vendors. So that's where that first component of educating, we need them to know the first step of doing business with the city of Miramar is vendor registration. So I knew from that study that I need to educate. We as outreach, and I needed to tell you, we have to go out and let them know the way to do business. It's nice to go meet with the commissioners and the mayors and the leadership, but you need to let procurement know you exist. We have a fair, open, and transparent process that's in place to ensure fairness across the board, that's designed to eradicate discrimination. But if you're not in the system, when you put your information in that system and the city is procuring goods and services, we needed to educate those businesses to know that you would get an email in your inbox letting you know, listen, the city is looking to procure your goods and services. So these are the basic overall components that we've developed to ensure that we educate them a little more about who it is and what we do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the fact. I love it. When I worked with the team, and I still feel part of the team. When I worked with the team, one of the most exciting energies for me was the feed that you fed your team members, and you entrenched in us to the care component, to care enough about the business owners, to want to go out there and to be reachable, so they can know who you are, to invest in them, to invest not only your words, but your time and the work that you put into it. The things that you're doing now, as far as I see, is building relationships with the businesses that are absolutely valuable. They're invaluable to make a program work. We have to be transparent. We have to be available to them. You don't seem to always be that way, especially with the big. One of the things I'd like to talk about now is when you talk about your educational part, then you get into your development part. What has the development process been like? And through your development program with the business, what are some of the things that you know that really works through the development process? Because everybody has development processes in place that they really work. And what makes you stand out from others?
Well, thank you. That's a great question, Johnie. And what we do primarily is through all of these components. It's nice when you develop a website and you give all that foresight. So what are the practical tools that you implemented to be able to effectuate this? First, you find out that they realize there's a problem. Then you put measures and structures and policies in place to remediate it. Then you have to actually go to work. The work part is, if I could see the next slide, we started doing very much long before you came on board the webinars. Next slide, please, Paul. And the first area that we did, we used to have these live webinars that we did pre-COVID, and we would have and invite the businesses to the city of Miramar so that they could see and have a more approachable touch and be able to connect with individuals and see the extent to which we're willing to go to help them grow. So in the educational component post-COVID, we had to develop a more, like yourself, technological savvy way of continuing to do the work that we're very compassionate about. And that's where that compassion comes in and is so important, because irregardless of the situation or the circumstances, the work has to continue. And we have individuals that are compassionate about it. You continue to develop ways to meet the needs of the people despite what's going on in the community and the nation at large. So with this educational platform that we have now, we call it Big Connect, where we believe, and we continue to do, that knowledge is power. We need to keep the businesses informed. Like I said earlier, that the first way to do business with the city is through vendor registration. We've had these monthly webinars that continue about seeking grant opportunities. We present community stakeholders and make them available on our platform, kind of like what you're doing with me today, to help them know, and not just the city of Miramar, but the reality is that's limited, just only saying and giving you information about one city, when we have a sister city approach where Dade, Broward, and Broward County, and Miami-Dade, Broward, and West Palm Beach have this tri-county respect for one another's business incentive to help small businesses grow. So we join in with our community stakeholders and partners, and we want our businesses to know, especially our local businesses, there's work available in Broward County. There's work available in West Palm Beach County. There's work available in Miami-Dade County. So we invite these stakeholders come on board with our Big Connect monthly webinars, and we allow our businesses an opportunity to ask questions. We wanted to inform them. I was so surprised, Johnie, that so many businesses don't even know the buying power of the school board. Oh my God, the school board spends millions of dollars in securing contractors. So don't just look at government agencies. I wanted to present them other ways. So the educational platform that we're currently using is Big Connect, where we're connecting our businesses, our local small minority businesses, with community stakeholders, tools, services that help them to be able to have a better understanding of how to not only gain access, but maximize the benefit of that access once they're entered into the process.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This is such wonderful opportunities that you're doing for businesses. I'm excited because I know that one thing we fail to realize in each community, that it is the businesses that keeps communities growing. It is the businesses that keep communities. It is the businesses that we have, even those small mom and pop businesses that hire our kids when they're going to college. They need college money. They need funding. They need to get jobs. It is a wonderful tool that you're doing here with the BID program. And I'm very happy that I was a part of it and still is a part of the BID program that causes businesses to grow and to develop and to educate. The other components I love about it is when you talk about strengthening them for growth. Because some of the businesses have been in Miramar for 30 some odd years, and some of them haven't, according to times of their mindset or where they're at, haven't grown much. But now we see an opportunity for them, especially during this pandemic time, how to reinvent themselves, how to grow differently, how to look at their business differently. And I love the component that you have with that, with the growth aspect for the businesses. Can you get a little bit into the detail of the growth aspect? Because I want to really get into that and get into the heart of the growth. I know you have plenty more to say, but I want to hit that. She's muted, Paul. She's muted, Paul.
Development is a huge part, business development, because one of the things that we found amidst this COVID pandemic, and I've seen on a lot of my webinars, is COVID is the virus, lack of preparedness is the real crisis that a lot of minority businesses, all of those federal programs and those things that were available, that a majority of the small micro businesses could not even capitalize on. Guess what? Because they had not developed in a way to be able to position themselves to access the help that they needed. So even though help was being extended everywhere, federal, national, locally, so many businesses, it broke my heart, was not able to capitalize, which forced cities like ours to have to extend additional measures. So this growth and development is huge. And I think in this COVID crisis, businesses understand it a little more. So we had to initiate another platform, the Bid Fit, which goes along with what we were doing with Commissioner Davis long before, where we would go throughout the community of City of Miramar to ensure that local businesses had all of the tools that they needed to grow. And now we've extended that in a webinar platform for the triunal businesses, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, because we need these businesses to grow. We need to know, and we need to help these businesses because they were not able to, when the solicitations are being released, there's a 14-day, or I'm just using the actual number of responses due within a particular timeline. Well, guess what? That's not a barrier. There are systems that are in place to ensure fairness and transparency that cannot be disregarded. And although we like to position our small businesses to succeed, we cannot do that without helping them to grow, to understand the importance of them following the guidelines and being positioned and ready to be it. That's what that readiness is talking about. Ready, willing, and able. You have to be the type of business that can adequately respond, timely respond, as well as do the work. And so that's what you see BidFit. Here's one particular webinar series where we're helping businesses write how to tell your story. Do you know, Johnny, that that's what a solicitation is? The city of Miramar is saying, we're looking to procure goods or services. Tell me why your business, or how it is that your business can assist the city in securing these goods and services. Tell me your story, okay? Because people do business with people they know. Your solicitation is getting us a connection so that we can get to know who you are, what you can do a little better. We needed to educate them to help them grow, to understand a better importance of being able to tell the stories. And what I love through this webinar series, we're using other small businesses to help them. We have small businesses like Right Choice Consulting Group that's now reinventing themselves. And amidst this COVID, it's most unfortunate because the SBA is calculating that 40% of our micro and small businesses, unfortunately, will not survive. The good news is, so that it's not such a damper, is that this is also the time that more business growth comes about as well. So we want to educate them on how to grow and access contracting opportunities. We want to have businesses in place to help you to learn how to write your story. We are offering businesses on the line that can help you with bonding and insurance, because guess what? Those are not barriers. We that live in the state of Florida saw that bridge fall down south. There will be no bridges falling in the city of Miramar. And so we have, as a protector of public dollars, we have an obligation to ensure that we're partnering with and securing the most qualified businesses. That's the type of growth that's critical. We need you to grow to a point where you understand the importance that we cannot just give you a project because of any particular scenario, especially, but we want you to be able to procure, perform, and suggest and give the procurement department the information that they will need to be able to gather, and when they're evaluating in that evaluation team, to know that you are the best, most qualified, responsible, and responsive bidder that can move forward. That's the most important growth. And so these webinar series that we're having with BidFit, trying to get them fit in such a way to get their businesses, their accounting practices in place. You'll see on there We want to make sure that you get your insurance in place. We want to make sure that you have bonding capacity. If we can get it. We want to make sure you know how to test the project. So many businesses lowball themselves just to win a bid, and then they don't have a profit at the end. They're not profitable. We're not in the business as a city and a government of exploiting businesses. We want you to grow. We want you to understand that we know you're a business. You're in business to make money. When you secure a project from the city of Miramar, and a lot of our community stakeholders feel the same way, we want you to be profitable. That means you need to educate yourself on the proper way to structure a bid and finance that bid that ensures profitability. So many of our micro businesses and small businesses don't have that savvy. So through this series, we've been presenting other professionals that just happen to be educated and qualified expert small businesses, and some of which are local businesses that can assist them in this process. We need them to know that your credit is an intricate part of everything. So many could not even secure the PPE loans because of credit to do it. They didn't understand these were loans. They're going to look at your credit. We have a local business, Xander Financial, that's in place. That's a local minority Black-owned business that's in place that's been helping businesses do credit repair. We need to connect them together to help them to be able to fit them, because with that credit, we learned through our bonding young lady that's been on our webinar series that that credit score, if it's less than a particular amount, you pay more for bonding. So all of the pieces fit together with that growth and development that we're trying to put to place. When we're trying to grow and develop you, yes, we want to educate you first component on how to do business and gain access to the city. Then we need to develop your expertise in such a way beyond I'm a plumber to I'm a plumber that know how to submit a bid solicitation package that's going to ensure that I am profitable, and I'm doing it in such a way that will give me a more competitive advantage when competing with other businesses that may have been more savvy in the area before they got the information we presented to them through BidFit.
Wow, this is wonderful, because what I'm getting from all of what you're saying there is that, like we stated in the beginning, that the city has already been doing phenomenal things for the businesses. But now what your proponent here is now giving the opportunity for those businesses that were not included to now be included. And so what you've done with that, with the development part, was saying, okay, so is this in place? Do you have all your certifications? You know how to go through the process? First of all, and most important, are you a registered vendor? Because we don't know who you are. If we don't know who you are, then we can't call on you. And to have this program here is awesome. To have the BidFit program. When is your next webinar? Because I'm excited about it, and I want all of our listening audiences out there to understand that this is important. If you're going to be successful in the city of Miramar, and if you want to know how to go through the procurement processes, make yourself available for these jobs that are available for you, you may want to listen to these webinars. So when is your next webinar going to come? You have two, I think, coming up, right?
Yes, sir. As you can see on the screen, that's our flyer for our next one, which will be November 5th, next Thursday. Now, our first one, and we do have recordings of the previous ones. We've done, the series had a total of 4. And then the first one, we had individuals that came from Miami-Dade School Board to talk about their contracting opportunities that are available. And we do have that because a lot of those contracting opportunities are still available. And now with the COVID, the school board is now contracting even more. There were areas like we had difficulty helping our small businesses that do coaching and training. Remember, we're a government agency, so how much do we procure for coaching and training? Well, guess what? The times have changed. COVID has made it so that the school board now procures those services, because now they have this online platform that will not go away. We have on that first webinar where you have the directors from the Miami-Dade School Board communicating to small businesses that we're procuring for services that we very seldom procured for pre-COVID. But now, due to COVID and the need to have this virtual atmosphere, now we're finding smaller businesses that primarily did not have to participate or did not have as much contracting opportunity pre-COVID can now, like our coaching firms, our training firms, those that have training programs. So definitely look at that. And that one was held in September 26th. Then we had another one on October 1st. That October 1st webinar, we presented all of the wonderful members that came from, we're a part of Berkeley County, and we're in a part of that surtax projects, and you'll see that information on all of those webinars. So we're trying to present Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. We definitely had individuals that came from the district office to talk about the contracting opportunities that are available for Broward as federal and national with the DBE program. So you'll find that on the second one. And as of November 5th, we have Palm Beach County School Board that's coming on board. They're going to be talking about upcoming contracts and contracting opportunities with West Palm Beach School Board. And so please, I encourage you, look at the flyer that's there. And as of December, we have Miami-Dade County, the entire county that's committed to come on board. So we're presenting available contracting opportunities that are available right now for Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. And that's what this series is about in terms of developing them and growing them beyond just small businesses. And the 5th, next Thursday, will be our next one. The information on the flyer will help you and position your listeners to be able to go on and register. And believe me, I believe it's a webinar series and a platform of experts that's going to be, we have 10 that are going to be there talking about bonding, insurance, and all of the things that businesses will need to position themselves to continue to develop and grow.
Wonderful. That is so great to hear, Dr. Hollis. Dr. Hollis, for our listening audience out there, please, you may want to take a look at this on YouTube. We're going to be posting this on YouTube, our LinkedIn pages. And if you want to register for any of those events, you want to go to miramarevents.webex.com and register for any of those events. I guarantee you will not walk away empty-handed. You're going to walk away with knowledge. You're going to walk away with everything you need to succeed in the procurement possibilities, not only with the city of Miramar, but through Palm Beach County, and through Broward County throughout in Miami-Dade. So having said all of that, I want to get to the part now of after the program is in place, the educational component is there. The development component is there. It is working. I want to see the growth experience that you have with the businesses. Let's get into that growth component and talk about that a little bit. Can you do that for us, Dr. Hollis?
It will be my pleasure, Johnny. Now, a lot of things that we had to do in terms of growth, because remember, it would be short-sighted of us not to acknowledge that we're in the midst of a pandemic. And this pandemic has been devastating to our businesses. And so our immediate growth concerns, those things were already in place. Yes, we've created more electronic and virtual ways of presenting those existing programs, but specifically to address the pandemic and the current and emergent need for sustainability for our businesses. We, as a city of Miramar, we've made available grants. We've been doing business contracts with the PPE. There are so many more businesses that are now selling the PPE gear, face masks. I am so impressed with the ingenuity of a lot of our small businesses that are going above and beyond the call of duty to really remain current and to stay alive amid this pandemic. So as they were sending me their emails, Dr. Hollis, I'm now selling PPE gear. I immediately forwarded those emails to both the procurement director as well as the fire chief. We had emergency measures that were in place, and we had emergency protocols that were being adhered to ensure that we secured those emergency for staff and our frontliners and responders. But I want the community to know, and I'm not exactly sure if you know, a lot of small businesses were utilized in that process. And so that was a current and intricate way that the city was using to help those businesses grow. Available grants we wanted them to know about grants and opportunities that extended even beyond the city of Miramar. So we had available grant webinar where we allowed an expert to come on that would assist them in responding to grants for those businesses that were not able to even take advantage of those loans, or quite frankly, some people don't want a loan. So we had to go and do the research, and I was able to find, along with a community partner, and a small business available grants, hundreds of grants. There's a webinar that's going to be available on our site where you can go and find out available grant opportunities that still remain available that the small businesses. Once you learn how to tell your story, use the same storyline to apply for grants, to apply for loans, to respond to solicitations. That's why it's so perfect, and we were trying to help them to grow. Use this downtime, this COVID downtime, to really tell your story, to write your story in a way that can be reintroduced no matter what the platform is. If someone's wanting to know about your business for a grant, boom, you've already told the story. If someone wants to know about your business for a loan, you can send that information to a bank. If someone wants to know who you are in terms of solicitation, the story has already been told. So that's some of those things that you see on our thing that's called the COVID-19 webinar. We did some of that. We have daily business support that, businesses were responding and calling us on a daily basis. They wanted to know through the Economic and Business Development Department, when can we reopen? When will it be safe? What are the safety guidelines? You, Director Taylor, each and every member of our team worked so hard and intricately daily with this, making sure we continue to give them the most current information. We had a city leadership. The mayor did these speak to the mayor platforms where ACM, Assistant City Manager, John Gale, hosts on a quarterly basis, and then they became bi-weekly because the urgent need to make sure that we gave current information on these businesses on how to sustain themselves and grow. So it was not just big, it was not just economic business development, it was not just Johnny's podcast, but the entire city. Every director was creating webinars to be able to say to the businesses and the community and the residents, we are here. We may be working remotely, but we are still here. So that was a lot of the growth and the things that you see in the certification process that was done during the pandemic. Now, where are we going with our next level? If you could go to the next slide, please. This is our 2021 calendar. Now, one of the things, remember the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program, what we call BID was developed, and it was the nucleus of the BID program will always be the diversity study. Everything that we are, everything that we do is a response. That study provided us with at least 10 recommendations on how to remedy those things that were identified as areas we can improve upon as a city. And so most of the programs, all the programs that you see developed and advanced through the BID program are in response to those recommendations. What specific recommendations? So every year I continue to develop and enhance and promote additional recommendations. The first of which, when I first came on board, is outreach. That's very easy because you need to know the pulse of the businesses. So I needed to go out and very intricately get to know the businesses, get to know the end users, get to know what they felt they need. I found out why they weren't responding, because the city didn't present them. We weren't discriminating against them. The city leaders never understood that anyone was feeling as if they were being discriminated against. So we had these open and transparent processes. So why weren't you engaged? So when we found out a few things, we were able to implement measures to remedy them. But another particular thing that the study said to us is every month or as often as you can, we need you to do how to do business with webinars. That's a recommendation and a requirement of the study. So I'm excited that 2021, we're going to be advancing this measure. I want the city, local, tribunal, Dave, Broward, Palm Beach. Now that we've educated you on the vendor registration process, now that we've educated on you on how it is that you can better grow and develop your company, how to do business with the city of Miramar. I am going to literally, through a similar platform like we have here, have representatives from each and every city department, the police department, the fire department, parks and recreation. We literally gave them an entire month to themselves because they do so much between managing all of the parks, having the summer programs for children. There is a great deal of opportunity for local and tribunal businesses to be able to do business with the parks and recreation. We need you to know how to do that. Everything from utilities, the public works, the community development. We are going to put on platform every department within the city in 2021. We're going to allow the representatives and to hopefully the fire chief or the police chief or the directors of the program, whoever it is that the department decides to make available to us, we're going to give them a platform similar to this where we're going to talk to them and have specific questions that we're going to make available to ensure that at the conclusion of that webinar, every business that desires to do business with that department will have a wealth of information onto how to grow, develop, and position themselves to be able to do so. Now, we're going to continue, as you can see, with the 2021 calendar with BidFit. Another part of our community and stakeholder collaboration and growth is to connect smaller subcontractors with prime contractors. Another intricate part of the diversity and inclusion platform is mentoring. So we're going to do a virtual mentoring concept in 2021, whereby, and so many businesses have been reaching out to me, when are you going to connect me with the prime contractors? How can we talk to prime contractors? For 3 segments in 2021, as you can see, April, August, and December, we're going to be doing BidFit. BidFit for 2020 was about getting them to grow as a business. Now that we've given them the tools to develop and grow themselves, don't just give me the tools, that's giving me a fish, but teach me how to fish. So now I want them to take all that they've learned, now that they've developed their capability statements, now that we've gotten them certified, now that they know how to respond to a solicitation, now that they know how to develop a story in a way that will make them more appealable to a prime contractor, guess what? Now we're going to get those prime contractors and allow those businesses to showcase who they are, ask questions of, to get more detailed, especially about the construction area, because that's the area the particular area that the diversity studies say we also. So I'm excited about 2021. I hope your listeners and viewers get excited like me. I hope they position themselves to come and take advantage of this amazing information and platform that we're going to make available throughout the entire year as we've been doing. And I look forward to you and I continuing to collaborate to be able to exchange and make sure we get all of the information. As you can see, my contact information is available there for you. Feel free to reach out, call me, email me, or provide me with any questions, and I will be more than happy, as I always am, to respond and assist any and all businesses in any capacity.
Dr. Hollis, thank you so much for being on our program today. One of the things that you made so viable that I love about your calendar is that you're working with the whole city of Miramar's each department, which makes me hope when we say things like, it took a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a business community. It takes all of us to do it. And I love the fact that you're making everyone available to these small businesses, and just small businesses, but all of our businesses in the city of Miramar available. And I love that fact. Also, the point is that I want to bring out to the listening audience, if they want to reach you, they can reach at K.E. Hollis at MiramarFL.com. Send you an email and just shoot me. And I'm telling you, listening audience, Dr. Hollis will respond. She will respond to every email. And if you get a chance, please now listen to this program on Spotify. You may want to listen to this program on YouTube. We have it on LinkedIn. All of our social medias will have this program available to you. Please, Dr. Hollis, thank you so much for being with us today. And we look forward to having you back again with us, okay?
Thank you so much. And congratulations on an amazing platform. The more we continue to extend our reach to minority businesses, the better the city becomes as a whole. So it's not just any one particular person's responsibility. It's a collectively citywide approach to eradicating and ensuring that every business knows. And we're not only here for them, we're going to ensure that the treatment that they receive within the city of Miramar is stellar.
Well, thank you again so much. Well, to our listening audience, you have been tuned in to Business Connect with the City of Miramar. And I'm Johnny Douglas, your host, saying To you, have a great day and stay connected.